Hello beautiful people of the internet. I am here today to do the TMI tag. I've never done a tag video, so this is going to be interesting. We're going to do this together. I'm actually on my lunch break right now. I have a weirdly long lunch break today. I got like an extra hour worth of lunch break, so I don't know. This is kind of spur of the moment. We're gonna feel this through together, and hopefully this will help you learn a little bit about me, and we can all become closer as a family and get to know each other a little bit better. I'm gonna jump right in. So, question number one, what are you wearing? I am wearing a scrub top and some yoga pants because that is my work uniform. I office manage a chiropractic office here in Chicago. That's my full-time job. I also have a lot of other side jobs, but that is my full-time job. Have you ever been in love? That's really deep for the second question. Can we not work up to that? Short answer, yes with an if. Long answer, no with a but. I have kind of a very unusual romantic history, and I think this is pretty typical of a lot of people who live in the theater world. We're very transitory people who feel emotions very strongly, very quickly, and then those emotions kind of, I don't want to say fade, but they change really quickly, just as quickly as they came in. 3, ever have a terrible breakup? This kind of goes hand in hand with the last question. I've never been in a really traditional relationship. I kind of just stumble into relationships and then stumble out of them again. A lot of my exes I'm still friends with, which is a great thing to have happen. And a lot of my breakups have been amicable. Some of them not so much, but it's never been like, let me sit at home and cry by myself eating Ben & Jerry's. I will eat Ben & Jerry's when I'm happy. Number 4, how tall are you? 5'6½-ish. I haven't measured myself in a really long time. The last time I checked, I was just over 5'6". I like to tell people I'm 5'7", just because that kind of borders you into tall girl territory. All the way up until about 5th grade. Like, I grew really quickly while everybody else kind of stayed the same, and then I stayed the same for a really long time, and everybody else started growing and catching up to me. So it was a big disappointment to me that I didn't end up being tall, that I'm just kind of average. So I wish I was taller, even though I'm not short. Number 5, how much do you weigh? Number 6, any tattoos? Yes, I have one tattoo. I have a peace sign over my heart. I'll kind of show you. See that? There. I am planning on getting others. I've had one in mind that I wanted to get the last couple of years for my birthday, and I just haven't been able to kind of make it happen financially. But my next tattoo is going to be a kind of a distressed looking Union Jack, a British flag. And underneath it, it's going to say Made in England, and I want it to basically look like it's been stamped on me. It's going to be like on my back shoulder, and I want it to look like I went through a factory and somebody just haphazardly like stamped it on me, so I want it kind of like off angle. Number 7, any piercings? Just my earlobes, very boring. I did consider for a long time getting a piercing on my eyebrow, but now that seems like hopelessly 90s. Everybody's got kind of like the nose piercings now, or like the cartilage. Never really wanted to have more holes in my ears. My mom actually has 2 holes, so I guess she's cooler than I am. And I can't really get nose piercings because I have really bad allergies in the springtime, so all I can picture is just like bits of tissue hanging off those piercings. That's not attractive at all. Number 8, OTP. I don't know what that means. Moving on. Number 9, favorite show. I'm assuming they mean television show because we're not talking about Broadway. I would have to say Lost. I was obsessed with Lost. I jumped into Lost in between season 2 and 3, and I kind of like binge watched 1 and 2 when they used to have that Blockbuster thing. Do they still have the Blockbuster? Like, it's Netflix, but it's Blockbuster. I used to have that. Now I have Netflix, and I binged on 1 and 2 through that, just in time to catch up for 3. And then I got my roommates obsessed with it too, and I was having to rewatch the 1 and 2 with them at the same time that I was watching 3 and seeing things that were happening, and I've tried to rewatch it since it's ended, and I've never gotten all the way through because I can't emotionally make it past the horrible season 3. Everything leading up to season 3 is awesome, and then season 3 is just horrible, and then season 4 and 5 get better, and I know it gets better, and I just haven't been able to make it past that yet, but someday. Number 10, favorite band. My all-time favorite band is The Who. I've loved them since I was 10 years old. I was So lucky to have been able to see them in '96 when they came around with the Quadrophenia tour. Of course, Keith Moon's been dead for a little while, so I didn't really get to see the full Who, but at least I got 3 out of the 4 in there. Other than that, I love kind of just classic rock in general. David Bowie is my number 2 guy. I love the Beatles, Stones, Eric Clapton, Elton John, stuff like that. Really makes me happy. But as far as music in general goes, I have really eclectic tastes. I like classical music, I like jazz, I like show tunes, I like Motown. I listen to a lot of different stuff, and as anybody who has ever listened to my last FM station can attest to, it's a weird mix of stuff, but I like it. I like it a lot. And something you miss. Right now, I would say my friends. I have a lot of friends kind of scattered across the country, and I don't get to see and talk to them as much as I would like to, and so I really do miss my friends. Thankfully, in this day and age, we have things like Facebook that connect us all across the world, so I do get to connect with them in that way. 12, favorite song, which I feel like should be after favorite bands. I want to organize the list. So, favorite song, my all-time favorite song is called Who Can I Turn To When Nobody Needs Me? And it's from a musical, very obscure musical from the 60s called Roar of the Grace Paint, Smell of the Crowd. It was written by Anthony Newley and Leslie Bricusse, and it's basically the song I sing when I'm sad. But it's also like a brilliant belting song. It was written for a male voice, but because my voice is lower, I can sing kind of in lower registers and get away with it. And I can just belt that song out like nobody's business when I'm depressed. I can even sing it when I'm happy. I just love it. It's the most beautiful, lyrical, floating song. Just to kind of put it in terms of things people may know, if you guys know the song Feeling Good, that's actually from the same musical, and it was written by the same 2 guys. So no, all you American Idol contestants, that song is not written by Michael Bublé, and if you keep saying it's by Michael Bublé, we'll reach through the TV and punch you in the face. It's by 2 British guys. 13, how old are you? I just turned 31 in January. For 14, what zodiac sign are you? I'm an Aquarius, and yes, I kind of do follow astrological stuff. I actually can do birth charts for people, which was really fun. It made me some side money in college. I am a pretty typical Aquarius. Aquarians, they say in Hair, there's a line that says Aquarians are destined for madness or greatness, and I kind of live my life by that. Aquarians tend to be very eccentric, very intellectual. I don't really believe in it, but it's really fun to play around and kind of tell people their personality traits and freak them out. It's really fun. 15, what quality do you look for in a partner? I'd say intelligence. I can't really be around people I can't talk to. I need to be able to have a conversation with someone, and I need to be able to have something in common, whether that something is on a disagreeing point of view, because I like to argue. I kind of like to debate and play devil's advocate a lot. But we need to have something in common. We need to have something to talk about, because if you're just pretty, you know, I could buy a painting for that. Favorite quote? My old kind of standby is an Oscar Wilde quote, and it's roughly, I may be misquoting it here, but it basically is, if all the world's a stage, then the play is badly cast. And I've just always loved that. Oscar Wilde's probably my favorite writer, and I love his kind of wit and sardonic humor. I think, if you're wondering, the growling sound in the background is my dog, who's wrestling with her pillow. Because I haven't taken her outside yet, and this is how she expresses her anger. I'm letting her work through it. Okay, number 17, favorite actor. Jude Law. I love him. I think I've at least seen every movie he's ever been in. If not, I probably own the majority of them. I've been a little obsessed with him since I was a teenager. I've just always really loved him. And no, not just because he's the most beautiful man in existence. He's also, I think he kind of carries over that vein that started with the great stage actors of the late 1800s and ran all the way through, you know, Laurence Olivier and John Gielgud, and then kind of Michael Caine and Peter O'Toole in the 60s. And I think he's that for us. He is that new generation. He's kind of taken over the Michael Caine bit in more ways than one. Yes, I know, we all hated Alfie. Let's just all deal with it. He's made other good things. As a B-side to that, I'd say also Alan Rickman is one of my favorites. I love him, and I want him to adopt me and teach me everything he knows about acting. I could listen to him read the phone book. And as far as actresses go, I really love Emma Thompson, and I want to be her when I grow up. I want everything about her life. Just put that out there. Emma, if you ever want to just like go into obscurity, let's trade. Let's talk about it. Okay, favorite color? Rainbows! In all seriousness, I actually do prefer like mixes of colors because I always think colors look better when they're with other colors. But if I had to pick out a color that I really liked, I'd say kind of indigo blue. That blue that's kind of dark and almost ultraviolet purple that you kind of, if you look at it one way it's purple and you look at it the other way it's blue. That's probably one of my favorite colors. I also kind of like the lighter version of that, which is periwinkle. Loud music or soft? I guess depending on the situation. In general, loud, so I can hear it. If it's too soft, you can't hear it. Do when you're sad. The first answer is drink. Not excessively. But mostly I sing. That tends to be what I do when I'm really depressed. There are songs that I have for certain occasions, like I was talking about my favorite song before. Another one I sing when I'm really depressed is I Am the Rock by Simon and Garfunkel. It's just this really angsty emo song and I love it. Emo before it was emo. Paul Simon was the first emo. How long does it take you to shower? Usually about 20 minutes. I got a lot of hair. I gotta do stuff with it. I also do a lot of my skincare in the shower. I do usually like a scrub or two and I moisturize and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess about 20 minutes. How long does it take to get ready in the morning? Not counting the shower, probably another 20 minutes. I don't have to think about what I'm gonna wear most mornings, which is the upside of having to wear scrubs. That's also why I kind of do my makeup the way I do. It's because that's the way I express myself since I don't really get to wear expressive clothing to work, which is fine with me. I like it that way. But yeah, I'd say probably about 20 to 40 minutes, depending. Ever been in a physical fight? No. No, I have not. Ons. Musicality, sense of humor, intelligence, like I said before. Somebody who's really passionate about something that I may not know about. Somebody who wants to kind of teach me about things and wants to exchange knowledge. That tends to turn me on a lot. Turn-offs, negativity. Big time. I cannot stand people, and entitlement, that's another one I hate. I hate entitlement. People who think they deserve something or that they're special because of something they've gone through. It just, you don't deserve anything. You get what you pay for, essentially. You don't, the world does not owe you a living. So that really, really makes me angry. And like I said, negativity, people who just can't see the upside in anything, tends to make me really not want to hang out with them. Reason I joined YouTube. It was a couple of different things. One was that I had a food blog, which I've talked about before, which is pretty successful, and I just kind of liked the idea of doing things on the internet, and my food blog is not really a situation where I can be myself. It's hard to explain. The reason was I had a lot of friends who moved out of town all kind of at once, and it left me with a lot of spare time. So I started crafting and kind of making jewelry and stuff to sell on Etsy as a side way of making some extra money, and that turned into a craft channel on YouTube, and then I kind of decided I wanted to do a beauty channel too because that's always been a passion of mine, so that's basically it. 7 fears. I really don't know. I guess it's like adult fears at this point in my life. Like, it's not like spiders and snakes and stuff. It's more like I worry about my mom. She's halfway across the country, you know, and she lives on her own. I worry about my dog when I'm not at home. I worry about financial stuff. More existentially, I worry if I'm going to accomplish the goals I've set for my life and just fun things like that. I don't see how that question could be fun for anybody to answer. Alright, last thing that made you cry. I'm not a big crier. It was probably a movie, but I don't even really cry that much at movies. I cry more now at movies than I used to. Honestly, I can't remember. I don't know. Does that make me sound really heartless? Maybe I'm just a really contented person at this point in my life. Maybe that's a good thing. Last time you said you loved someone was probably to my mom. I talk to her at least once a day most of the time, and we always end our conversations by saying I love you. Meaning behind your YouTube name. my YouTube name just kind of came from the fact that I've always referred to myself as fat and not in a derogatory way. It's never been a derogatory thing for me. It's just a descriptive word to describe my body shape, like you would say someone was tall or short. That's all it is to me, and so I thought if I named a beauty channel after the fact that I'm fat, it would kind of take the power away from the insult, sort of like how they say about Voldemort's name in Harry Potter. If you say his name, then it takes the power away from the fear and all that stuff. So that's kind of why I titled my channel Fat Girl Beautiful. It was just my way of saying, like, yep, I'm fat, let's move on and have fun. So that was basically it. Last book you read. Last book I read was probably The Phantom of Manhattan, which is like the unofficial sequel to Phantom of the Opera. It is not good. It's not good at all. When I finished it, I threw it across the room because I was so angry at it. No, do not recommend. Not a good book. I also was listening to an audio version of Thomas Hardy's Return of the Native lately. I didn't actually read it, but I was listening to it on my walks to work, and it was being read by Alan Rickman, which, yes, that's why I downloaded it. That was pretty good, but it's pretty atypical of 18th century or 1800s novels in that, you know, it had all the women characters are just kind of, oh, I'm so slightly embarrassed by this tiny thing that happened that I have to die now, and that just always makes me angry, but in general it was a good book. Let's see, book you're currently reading. Hang on a sec. Okay, these are the books I am currently reading. I kind of have, this is my New Year's resolution because I've always been a big reader, and last year I kind of got out of reading, so I have been collecting a stack of books to slowly go through. So the one on the top here is Jackie Collins' book. I actually got this as a promo for my food blog. She just wrote a cookbook, and they sent me the newest version, or the newest novel in her Lucky Santangelo series as part of the review thing, so I'm gonna read it because there's a possibility I actually might be interviewing Jackie Collins. I need to prepare. I also have, let's see, there's Devil in the White City, which is a Chicago nonfiction history thing. It's talking about the World's Fair in the 1800s, and also H.H. Holmes, who was this like infamous murderer, and I've been wanting to read this since I moved here. I have two books by the actor Richard E. Grant. For those of you who watch Girls, he was on this season of Girls. For those of you who may know his career a little bit more in depth like I do, he's the guy from With Nail and I. He was in Spice World. Just put that out there too. But these are two of his books. One is a memoir, I believe. I think, yeah, this one is kind of more of a memoir of a film that he wrote and directed that's based on his own life. And then this one is a film diary. So yeah, I need to read both of these because he's an incredibly witty man. I also have this book of short stories by H.P. Lovecraft, which I picked up around Christmas time, and it was just something that I've always wanted to get into. I have 50 Shades of Grey, which was lent to me by a friend, which I need to get to so I can give this back to her. This was a cookbook I was given for Christmas, and it's about molecular gastronomy and doing it at home. Don't know if I can do it, but I still want to read it. This book is actually a research thing for another book that I'm reading that's in my bedroom, but it's about King Ludwig II of Bavaria. I know, I'm a nerd, I know. And this one is a history of my neighborhood in Chicago. Again, I like history. This one is Pete Townsend's autobiography, which I've been kind of reading on and off for the last year. I, for some reason, just can't kind of sit down and commit to this book, even though this man is my hero. But I'm gonna get through this one, and then the last one on my pile is this, and it's a book about how Oscar Wilde knew who Jack the Ripper was, and it's not good. It's a real book, it's a non-fiction book. This is not a fiction book, it's a non-fiction book. Yeah. So that's that. Show you watched. I got sucked into last night on the Travel Channel. They have this show called Museum Mysteries, or Mysteries of the Museum. It's basically where they go through museum exhibits and explain to you like the mysterious stories that are attached to them. So cool. But I got sucked into like 6 episodes of that, and it was really awesome. Last person you talked to was probably the massage therapist who left my office before I went. No, well, I guess it, like actual physical person would have been the checkout girl at Whole Foods when I was getting my lunch. There you go. The relationship between you and the last person you texted. Coworkers. I texted my coworker to tell her what time to come in this afternoon. I think that was the last thing that I texted. Not very exciting. Favorite food? Savory food would be like pasta with fresh mozzarella, just like spaghetti and tomato sauce and fresh mozzarella. I make that for myself pretty much every weekend because that's like my favorite easy dinner. Sweet-wise, ice cream. I love ice cream. I eat way too much ice cream, hence the fat girl part. Place you want to visit? England, for sure. I know it's unbelievable, but I have never been there. I've only been there in my mind. It's really sad because I can give like strangers street directions in London. I've never been there. So yeah, someday I'm gonna get there and I'm never gonna want to come home, and that's probably why I haven't been yet, because I'll just abandon everything at home and stay there and live on the streets. Last place you were? Whole Foods, before that work. I live a glamorous life, guys. Do you have a crush? No. I have plenty of acting crushes, as evidenced by my previous gushing, but no, I don't have a real life crush right now. Last time you kissed someone? Does my dog count? In all seriousness, probably December. I'm not a serial dater. I don't just date for the hell of it. I only kind of go out with people I genuinely am interested in. I've had a lot of bad online dating experiences, so I'm very wary to just kind of like go out with everybody randomly. So yeah, sorry if that's a really long time for you, but I'm fine with it. Last time you were insulted? Probably the last time somebody left a really nasty YouTube comment. I don't really remember. People tend not to insult me because they tend to be scared of me. I'm kind of intimidating. I think it's the voice, honestly. I think because I have a deep voice, people kind of go, oh, I'm not gonna mess with her, but I'm not a violent person. I've never had to punch somebody. I guess I could if I really needed to, but I'm a lover, not a fighter. If you have an insult for me, that's fun. I'm sorry that you hate your own life so much that you feel the need to say something mean to me. That's basically how I feel about it. Favorite flavor of sweets? I guess it's like candy flavors? I don't know. I used to like grape flavored stuff. No, I know what this answer. I know what the answer is. Blue raspberry. I will eat anything blue raspberry. I don't even care. It's not because it tastes, it's because it's blue. Not gonna lie. Blue raspberry. Instruments do you play? I play the guitar. I kind of play piano. Not really though. I can plunk out a tune, but I can't really, like, I'm not a virtuoso on the piano at all. When I was a kid, I played brass instruments, like I played the trumpet and the baritone. I tried to teach myself violin a couple of years ago, and then I realized how high maintenance violin is, and I think it's one of those things that you just kind of need to learn when you're younger. So now I have a very expensive wall ornament, but it's pretty because the violin I bought is turquoise, but guitar, basically. Favorite piece of jewelry? So, I have kind of two answers to that. The thing I've been wearing most often lately is this necklace. You guys have seen this, and it's just a pendant that I bought at Michael's. I think I actually got it half off, and I have this antique brass chain that actually matched the framing on this thing, so I just attached it to that. I've been wearing that a lot lately. This is the number one piece of jewelry that would like never kind of leave my side, and it's what I call my talismans. There's 4 charms on here, all of which were given to me. This one is a Star of David that's made out of garnets, which is actually my birthstone. It was my dad who gave it to my grandma, and then my grandma gave it to me. And then I have this St. Genesius medal, which is the patron saint of theater, and he was given to me by a really good friend back home in Arizona. I have these little comedy tragedy masks, which my mom gave me when I was 10. And then I have this little silver pendant of England, which was given to me by a really good friend for Christmas a few years ago. So whenever I kind of travel and stuff, I'll wear this because it just makes me feel safe and protected. So this is the thing that means the most to me. Last sport that you played? I've never really played sports. I was a theater kid. But I watch baseball. I'm a huge Diamondbacks fan, if that counts. Last song you sang, I believe I was singing The Show Must Go On by Queen while I was doing laundry at work. Because when I'm alone in my office, I just sing constantly. It's like a Broadway show tune fest in there, pretty much. Favorite chat up line? I don't use chat up lines. I will tell you my favorite one that was ever used on me, which was at a piano bar in Pittsburgh, and the guy turned to me during the song Don't Stop Believin' and said, "Hey, isn't this by that band that had the drummer with one arm?" And there was so much wrong in that sentence that I laughed in his face. Like, I think you're thinking of Def Leppard, and no, Def Leppard did not write Don't Stop Believin'. I mean, the guy did go home with my phone number, so I guess it worked. Have you ever used it? No, I've never asked anybody if Don't Stop Believin' was by the band with the drummer with one arm. Maybe it'll work for me. Who knows? I should try it. And last time you hung out with anyone, that would be Saturday. I went to brunch with my friend Jenna, and it was this really nice little Italian wine bar place. I'm very lucky in that with my food blog I get invited to go to a lot of restaurants free of charge in order to review them, and honestly I'm not a very harsh critic, so I usually don't give bad reviews, so it's not an issue for me compromising my integrity or anything like that. It's just a lot of fun and I like it, so that's why I do it. So that's pretty much it for the TMI tag, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you didn't, I'm sorry. I just wanted to do it. So maybe I'll do some tags in the future, telling you guys what you think, and if you have a TMI tag of your own, please leave a comment so I can check out your channel and see yours, and then we can all know each other very well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon.